everybody, and welcome to this video where I finally, after 3 years of saying I would do it, I'm going to tell you really, because I don't have a second camera to aim down at my desk with what's happening here. How I make my bookmarks, and it's honestly a very cost-effective way. And you get to design your own bookmarks this way. You get to put whatever quotes you want on them and all of that fun stuff. Now, I'm going to tell you the materials you're going to need. I prefer to use like poster paper, and you can make a lot out of a single thing of poster paper. So, you can just get that. Most of this you can get from the dollar store. So, white poster paper, I highly recommend that. Markers or pencil crayons of any kind you want. I'm trying out these new markers that I got not too long ago. They're like brush markers, but they also have a fine tip end. And they're from Monolin. There's going to be a link to these markers in the description. But they are really, really nice little paintbrush kinds of markers, which is something that I'm going to really love because, and there's like hardly any streakiness on them. I have done a test with this bookmark design on it, and like you can hardly see any streaks, unlike with even this one with the Sharpie. God, this was a terrible job. I can see all of the marks that the Sharpie made. With these, you can hardly see it, if at all. So, yeah, I use these. On top of them, I will be using these Hoo metallic colored markers, or they say pen, but really they are markers. Only because I want to put some text over this bookmark, and I feel, and like a metallic color is really going to pop, especially with the colors I will be using for this bookmark. So, a link for these markers will also be in the description, but they're pretty cool. They come in 10 different colors, and honestly, really glad for that. Next, you will need some yarn. I have 2 different colors here because I'm going to be using both of them for this bookmark. You should also get a hole puncher, which also you can get like all of this aside from the markers I have from the dollar store, considering I got them from the dollar store. Because I don't know where I used a little tying method with my last ones. This time I'm going to be using a glue gun. So I have a glue gun. I have glue sticks for the gun, for the glue gun. And obviously you'll need scissors. I've already cut out my main piece. I've cut out the backing piece. I might do, but yeah, you'll need a hole puncher, yarn, markers, pencil for you to outline your design, eraser, obviously. Right, you will need packing tape for the laminating process. If you want to skip the laminating process, go ahead. I do recommend it. And this way, if you don't have a laminator, like I don't, because this bitch doesn't have money, I use packing tape, clear packing tape. I have it right here. Just bought some more. However, I do recommend, unless you have a very good eye for things and have a very steady and careful hand, getting packing tape that is wide enough for your bookmarks. I do not have packing tape wide enough for my bookmark. You will also probably need a ruler. Should have said that. But I did prepare for this video in drawing out my design first. However, Um, I also eyeball this, so I'm going to give you an exact measurement of what you should be looking for. Uh, in width for your bookmark, you should have about 6.5 centimeters. And in your height for your bookmark, you should be looking at like 19 centimeters. This will end up being that because I did my design on a smaller card surface, but I add these little backings and borders to my bookmarks so that I don't have to worry about coloring the back. So yeah, also glue will help with that. Which I do have just regular glue, which is what I will be using for that. That's just down in my storage cabinet thing. Uh, and I'll grab it when the time comes for that. However, now is the time for explaining the process. So today, I am making a bookmark based off of the book The Prison Healer. I have made it considerable through, just about the beginning part, and I'm loving it so much now. I know I said I would read Reaper. I know I said that. However, I wanted a book that would give me a break between that world and this just drew me to it. I tried to read Crown of Bones. It's just not hitting right for me right now, so I stopped and then I was like, I'm gonna read The Prison Healer. It really drew me in, and I don't know why that one of all my books drew me in the most, but it did, and I'm super glad it did. So, first that you have to do is you have to draw out your design. This, if this can focus, I don't know if it'll focus. I'm hoping that focused. Um, is my design. Now I've done it all in pencil. However, I will be outlining everything now in my in the fine tip portion of these markers. I do recommend that if you are using anything, that you should be outlining your design in a fine tip, even just a Sharpie. Just a Sharpie as an outline. Because I tried this without doing that in another sketchbook that's, I think, is in my room. I tried it, and it didn't work out so well. So I do suggest outlining, which is exactly what I'm going to do now, as I just, talk to you guys. Because I feel like you guys are, I should just talk. This is a good moment to just, talk. I was making sure it was working properly. I haven't, used the fine tip portions of these markers, if at all. Much, if at all. But, honestly, these markers work wonders. And I am using a bunch that are, the same shade and stuff like that. And that's because the design I have is to replicate the cover of The Prison Healer, which is not with me. It's in my bedroom just next door. I just don't want to get up because this video is going to take long enough as it is for me to record. No use in me leaving just to show you a cover that I have I'm hoping I replicated it pretty well. like I'm very good at replicating art. I'm very good at drawing things that I can actually see. Now, I can't see. Here's a little known fact about me is I have aphantasia. So I can't actually see most of what I draw. I can't see it in my head, which considering I do a lot of art and that I even write books that like need you to be very descriptive and detail oriented. All of these things that I'm not. Yeah, I'm not. I have aphantasia. I can't see things in my head. However, that doesn't mean I'm useless. No, that is the absolute opposite. Because I grew up as a fine arts student. I grew up loving art. I grew up loving to create art, even if I wasn't that good. So, with many years of practice, I learned to be able to sort of sense. I learned to be able to sense shapes in my head. Like I still can't see them, but I can get sort of like a feel for them. It's really difficult to explain how this works, but it does. And you know what? I'm really glad it does because without that ability, I probably wouldn't be able to write the books that I do. I can sense the feeling of movements. I can't see it in my head, but I can like sense the movements. I hope I'm making any form of sense. If I am not, then you know what? Either I edit this out and you will never know that this conversation ever happened, or I don't edit it out because I am my own destruction. Okay, so we have our outline. This is what my design is going to look like. You can do whatever you want. I am a little tiny bit artistically inclined, so I can do more detailed bookmarks. Granted, when I did this one here, I was in college. I needed something to do for a poly art. God, I hated that so much. But not as much as rotoscope animation. Rotoscope is what actually killed me. Alright, so there we go. We have our outline done in a finer point marker. You can also use pen. You can use whatever you want. I do recommend doing this kind of thing though, because this is really just a good thing to do. So, now we go into actually coloring it, which is going to take a hot minute. I haven't done something like this in so long. I haven't done like traditional art in a long time, and so this may be a little bad. But you know what? We'll live with it. We'll work with it. If it's a little bad, it's fine. I mean, it's what it is. I can't fix it in post because there's no post for this. So, you know what? We're here and we'll live with the mistakes that I make. So, the black on here is the other one I really shouldn't be messing up because of how you can fix a lot of colors. However, one of the colors you can't fix because of how dark it is black. So when you're going around tight corners, and even if it is a decently large space, I do recommend you still go in with a finer tip because, especially when you're working with a brush tip like I have on your other size, it's kind of daunting, and if I had gone in with a brush tip for that little lock section, it would not have ended well. Anyways, I know this is a very late time to be doing this video because I had promised it like ages ago and I just never did it. But you know what? I'm glad I'm doing it now, and I'm glad I'm doing it with sort of updated version on it, which is honestly a better version. Granted, I haven't made a bookmark since college, so I haven't really made one in recent time. Actually, no, that's a lie. I did try to record this video. I tried it. I didn't like how it turned out, which is why it never went up. And so what had happened was I had made the bookmark design for Godstorm, and like it just didn't turn out how I wanted it to, so I completely deleted the video, never even looked at it again. Granted, the bookmark isn't as bad as I had originally thought, but because of how things work, I still scrapped the video. Granted, no bookmark for a video like this will look perfect. In fact, this one definitely will not look perfect. But you know what? At least I tried. I can't always have perfection. Oh my god. I'm almost done this, but my hands are cramping up. This is why I stopped doing digital art. No, not digital. Art by hand is because it it gave me arthritis in my hand for a bit. So if I'm using my hands too much for too long, they end up really hurting. But you know what? It's worth it to show you guys the process and how you can make your own bookmarks pretty cheaply. And there we go. Okay, now I just wait for this to air dry. But there is my trying to move in the correct direction. There is my base for the bookmark. The base color, base design. And I will be putting text in here from my my new favorite quote from the book, which is, God, I think it's I still think you have a death wish. Prove me wrong. Which, oh, let me see if that is the quote, because it is a really interesting quote and I love it. Yeah. I still think you have a death wish. Feel free to prove me wrong. Oh, such a great quote, and from such a great character. I love it. Um there's also another one which happens like early before this, which is my name is Kiva Meriden, however you want to pronounce that. Uh, my name is Kiva Meriden, and I claim her sentence as my own. Now, I have swapped between these two quotes on what to put on here, and I think I'm going to go with the Death Wish one, only because it is so good and so great. But yeah, so this is the bookmark. This is the design. I think you can see where I messed up. It's on the flower that's front and center. But you know what? I fixed it as best as I could. We will write out our well done here, and I'm doing it by my hand, so it's gonna be my writing. And there we go. I have my text all laid out, and it is gonna look a little weird right now because these markers, as they dry, become a little brighter. So that's also going to take a minute to dry. Now, you could always stop at this stage after you're done coloring and all. And even over this, you could do the, and if you want to stop here, not put a border like, and you don't want to put like a border around it, you can completely 100% do that. However, I like to be a little extra. I have a little piece of more poster board here. Now, I like to just fit this on onto my spare piece, and then I will cut around it so that I will have a perfectly fit border. It is actually good to put a little piece of tape underneath this so it stays put. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put a little bit of tape underneath because I don't want to glue this quite yet. So I'm going to just put it where it's going to give me the best opportunity for an outline. And then I will cut off little areas so I can do a border. And my cuts are never very straight, but you know what? I'm okay with that. This is a homemade project, so... Oh my god, my fingerprints are all over this, and that sucks. You know what? It's fine. Because the markers are all still drying. And now, I'm gonna let that dry. Let it be. Let it dry off. And I'm now going to color both sides of these, actually. I'm going to be coloring them both. What color do I want for this? I don't really want the black or the green of the bars, so I'm actually going to choose purple because I want to be fancy like that, and it'll match the word wrong. Okay, and there we go. Now, all we have to do is glue these pieces together. There. Now, let that dry. And then we will get prepared to do the cheap laminating process. Now, this is something I learned as a trick. And I don't know exactly how I learned it. I'm just going to hold this together. I'm not sure how I learned it, what I learned it from. I don't know a whole lot about it. And just some weights, so that'll stay. But I had figured out that laminating you can easily do with some packing tape. I make sure I have long strips, and I make sure my strips have no fingerprints. That is a must. Now, I'm cutting longer than I need because I will have to put my fingerprints on the edges here. Like I've already done. But because I also do not have enough, my tape's not wide enough. Because my tape's not wide enough for just one to cover, I gotta grab two. This is really how I do it. I know you're probably waiting on the tassels and how I've updated the tassel look. So, yeah, we'll get to that in a moment. Actually, while we're waiting, I'm going to set this up. Yep, she's glued nice and tightly. And now look at that. Now you can also stop here, not touch it, but I will be doing my laminating process. Please excuse the mess. So this is what it looks like right now. Now, God, I'm going to try and move all of this. You can see my design. You can see my bookmark. Now, this is what I do to laminate. I take my packing tape, and because it won't fit over the whole thing, and I do have to trim some of it off, I do place it roughly in the middle, and then smooth it out. I do that, and then, oh my god, no. And then I do the same thing with this. Now, either you can try and line up the crease, or you go over the crease and try to, but only slightly, so it doesn't actually disrupt anything. That's not going to work. And then you need to press it down real nice. Now, I have this pressed down, and I gotta do the same thing to the other side. And there we go. Now, this is a lot of tape wasted, and I will admit that. However, there's not much I can do on it because, oh shit, because I just pull. You don't have to pull as long strips as me. I just do it because I prefer to have the space to be able to work. Oh my god. Now, of course, I might have fucked myself over a little here, as one of these sides is going to be a little sticky to cut. Alrighty, there we go. Now, that's done. And also, if you just wanted it laminated, then you can stop here. However, this is not how I do things. I'm taking my hole punch that I've had for years, and you can buy a single hole puncher from the dollar store. I just have this, so I don't actually need to. Now, I will have to fold. Actually, I'm going to cut off a little more up here. I will have to bring this in a little and make sure I don't trim off my lettering and try and make it as center as possible. And there we go. We have our little hole. Now, here's where the yarn comes in. Now, I made a mistake, so this is my second attempt at doing the tassel in this way. And there's still a mistake in this one, so enjoy that. So, you're going to take a piece of yarn that is about just a bit longer than your bookmark. Don't know how long, of course, but this is what you're going to do. And then you're going to take it, you're going to feed it through the hole and put it through here. Now, you are going to be tying this off. However, I do want to keep the length for this portion only. I will be cutting off the excess in a minute. So, yes, I'm just doing simple knot here. And this is why I'm keeping the excess, so I can do this. It is just a simple knot right there. And you want a knot that's small so that you can put the red yarn over it to hide all the other things. To hide it. So, there. You have that. And now you're going to take a longer strip, however long you want. I don't measure this part, like, at all. And you're going to want just a bunch of pieces that'll be twice the length of your tassel, because you are going to be folding them over. And you just need a bunch of these so that you can make your tassel. This is good for your tassel, this amount, and you will feed this through here, and you could glue this down with some hot glue. I'm not going to, though, because the hot glue is for mostly, it's going to end up hiding all of my knots here. Actually, you know what? Gluing it might be the best option. I haven't done this way before, so gonna have to bear with me. I'm gonna just put the glue on this side. And then stick it here. My knot came undone. Okay. Once again, with the glue. And stick her on there. And half of these should, one side should be going through, while the other side stays there. Now, this will look ugly right now. Oh, let's get rid of that string. This will look ugly right now because I haven't tried to hide anything yet. Now, this is where my red yarn is going to come in handy here. Now, what we do is we are going to start wrapping this. And we're going to start wrapping it by putting a little more glue here. To put the starter piece of the red on. And then we are just going to wrap. And you do want a sizable piece of this. This last piece, because you are going to be going around a lot of yarn that you don't really want to escape, and trying to hide all of that glue. Okay, so after that, you're going to want to add just a touch of glue, just a touch, and wrap around that. You are going to hide the glue with this wrapping while also securing it in place. And now I'm going to cut this free, and we let that dry. And now I'm going to cut this off here. And there we go. Oh, a nice new little tassel. Now, I know that took a while, and this is the tricky part. It is the tassel. But now I got a nice new little bookmark that I can use on the book that I made it for. So, yeah, that's my process. And I know it's a little confusing, but yeah, that is the process of me making my bookmarks. I hope it helped in any way, shape, or form. If it didn't, I'm sorry. I'm not good at tutorials. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and if you did, give it a like. If you want to see more content from me, hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell so you get notified when I post new videos, and see you all in the next video. Just so you know, next week's video will be on this book. I'm almost confident on that one. Anyways,